All right, so I want to do this next video on combining two main things that I've showed you guys already, which have been injections and structure. I kind of want to show you how both of them kind of combine on a day-to-day basis and help you understand where price is going. So we understand that structure is used for inducements. We understand that liquidity is used for inducements. And the primary purpose and our main objective of the day is to pretty much identify where is price going to induce? Where price is going to induce is where price is going to go. And where price has induced is where price is going to react and then follow a new trend or maintain a new direction. So let's get into it. All right, let's keep things simple. Let's start off with daily structure. Well, first of all, it depends on what you want to do first. You can either start with injections first or structure. I generally prefer stick with structure. I'm going to do a whole top-down analysis on how I combine both structure and injections. Well, we can see already, based off of the daily, that structure is moving in a downtrend. Cool. Top into the 4-hour. After this low point here, I can clearly see this low, this high to this low, this high sweeps this 4-hour low, so this becomes now my structure points. Right, and what I want to make clear here is we're about to kind of cover how structure becomes part of the algorithm with the injections. Right, there we're pretty much going to go over. We've already gone over a little briefly over internal versus external, but this might help your understanding of external versus internal liquidity just a little more. I also want to go over kind of the daily and weekly cycle. Now, if you haven't watched my video on YouTube about the weekly cycle, go ahead and go over to YouTube, watch that video. That is basically a whole lesson on the weekly cycle, right? Again, what you guys are paying for is pretty much liquidity concepts, understanding how I trade, and that's what I want to show you now. So I can focus more on that. But basically, we have marked up our daily structure. Right now, we're on the 4-hour. We want to identify more 4-hour points. This low gets swept to here. This lower high creates this lower low. This lower low creates this higher high, right? And then at that point there, that's pretty much all I'm given in terms of external liquidity. How do I mark out my external liquidity? I want to see from structure point to structure point what's being swept. Let me just look in notes real quick here. All right, so the next video, we're primarily just going to be going over algo structure, right? Honestly, what we can go ahead and do right now is kind of go over algo structure, right? Algo structure being the injections and structural inducements. So it's pretty much what we're doing now. So let me go ahead and kind of go over what we're going to go over, right? Combining injections and structure, right? Using injections and structure for the algo. All right, we're going to go over time is confluence. Once we kind of get into this, right, we're also going to go over correct session timings. Right. We're also going to go over the daily cycle. That's what I kind of want to focus on. So I was going to put both of these in 2 separate videos. What I might do actually, instead of going into the daily cycle, because I want to have a whole video on this, let's actually keep these 3 for the next video. And let's just focus on injections and algos so you guys don't get lost, right? Because we're going to be combining all this together at some point anyways. So let's just focus on using injections and the structure for the algo, right? That I then want to move into reversals and continuations. Okay. Here we have our inducements. Right, we've clearly marked up our daily 4-hour structure. All right, now I want to move in, identify, well, not yet. I actually want to identify the internal structure. All right, internally, have this here, to here, to here, to here, to here. All right, we've clearly seen that this low has gotten swept, which allows me to understand that we have now entered from a structure standpoint, algo standpoint, structural phase 2. So just like the injections, we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Structure points have the same thing. We have structural phase 1, right? Structure phase 2, right? And of course, after this will be structure phase 3. The same thing applies here. Here we have structural phase 1, structural phase 2. Right? What we want to see here is price to manipulate on the structure points, either this point here or this point here. So we know coming into the day, our main moves, I told you before, our main moves come from the daily and 4-hour time frame, right? Yes, we can see it on the hourly. Yes, we can see it on the 15-minute, but most likely we are going to see these things happen on the daily and 4-hour time frame. Let's go into minor, first medium, first major inducements. Major inducements occur on the daily and 4-hour. Now, liquidity inducement theorem by Rem, he argues that the hourly is major inducement. I completely disagree. Right? I believe it is solely just the daily and the 4-hour time frames. The only time the hourly becomes major inducement is when it is the previous day lows or the previous day highs. Right? That is the only time I will ever see the hourly become major inducement. Now, what does major inducement do? Reversals. Right? Strictly reversals. What is medium inducement? Medium inducement is primarily the hourly 15-minute. Right? Rarely we see continuations. Most of the time, we find reversals. Then we have minor inducement. Right? This is your Asian session. Right? This is your 15-minute within 15-minute structure points within the Asian liquidity. And sometimes London. There are also 15-minute structure points that are intraday. And what is minor inducement used for? Mainly continuations, right? Occasionally and rarely reversals. All right, so hopefully this all makes some sense. Don't worry if you're a visual learner, we're going to go over this. I know, like, honestly, writing it all out is one thing. I'd rather you guys see it and see how it works. Here we have our structural inducements, right? This is a BOS, right? A lot of people are assuming, okay, cool, BOS. That means we're going to assume buys around this area here. When are we only assuming buys here? When we have true inducement. We can see here, based off our liquidity phase, structurally, we have structural phase 1, structural phase 2. We can understand that if price comes here, we will react and run, right? Whereas the opposite, if price comes up to here, we will react and run, right? That is algo structure. We can ping pong from this point to this point here. Let's move into the hourly. We understand based off of the hourly time frame. Where is our structure? All right, well, we clearly see we have another high right here that I completely missed out on the 4-hour. Remember this point right here actually got swept like so. All right, so we're now in structural phase 1. right here, and then, oops, structural phase 2. Now, keep in mind, what do we notice? This is the external liquidity of the intraday. This is, on the outside, the true external liquidity. Notice how we're finding liquidity by looking at the different phases of the market. Hopefully this is new to you guys. This is how we trade the algo. We want to ignore everything in between. We still are on the hourly. So let's go ahead and mark up lower lows and lower highs. We can clearly see we make lower low, lower high here, right? So that does what? Clearly see we have a break of structure. It means nothing, right? Why? Because this is all inducement. Regardless, that needs to get swept. And we're clearly on structural phase 1. I'm not going to mark that out, right? Now we can clearly go into the 15-minute. We can clearly see that the 15-minute starts somewhere relatively here. I'll make my 15-minute red, and we can clearly see we're moving in the downtrend. And here are 15-minute inducements. Here's what I want you guys to understand. Are these inducements all tradable? Yes. Where are our most powerful inducements? Green, right? Where are, so major inducements here, here. Other major inducements here, here. And now we move into, well, this depends. Is this hourly inducement previous day highs? Let's turn on our session breaks. Yes, it is. So this would be considered major inducement. Our 15-minute is most likely right here, medium inducement, right? So I'm going to mark all these up for you. Major inducement, medium inducement, Asian session, minor inducement. Most likely be looking for continuations then. Let's notice what happens. Right now we got all our structure points. Now let's go back on the daily. Let's find our injections. All right, we already know, right? Our daily injection is right here. So our outermost area for a stop hunt will be up here. All right, let's go directly into the 4-hour. What do we have? It looks like our 4-hour injection is actually matching up with this here, right? We had one before where we had black, 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 gray, black. It looks like that already manipulated right here and made its move up. So it looks like we don't really have that many injections in here. We're going to primarily focus on our structural phases, right? And I forgot to mark this one down here, major inducement, right? Meaning we are looking for our main reversals here, here, and here. These are less probable, but I'm still going to show you how we can trade them because that's how you ping pong price, right? These are all the points we're going to be able to ping pong price. Let's move into the 15-minute. I ignore my injections so we get onto these time frames. Look at what happens. Structural phase 1, structural phase 2, structural phase 1, structural phase 1, structural phase 1. Minor inducement, medium inducement, major inducement. We need to watch the price action and see how it reacts. I'm going to go over my favorite entries, which are on the 10-minute. We have finally swept a low right here, right? Look how it sweeps. Watch what happens. All right, well, that didn't go as planned. So we sweep, right? Remember I said this was minor inducement? Minor inducement, we were most of the time looking for what? Continuations, right? This one here was not my favorite examples. Usually we like to see a break, right? A more strong break for our continuation. So simply we may not be taking trades here, right? We do not want to be looking for reversals within the Asian session yet, unless it's probable. We'll have to go over numerous setups here. All right. So we saw that let's pretend that we were taking a reversal trade here, right? If I were to be taking a reversal trade, how would I do it? I would be on the 10 or 15-minute chart. I'd look to see a bullish engulfing like so here, take my OB, and I would start buying right here. Price did not give me an opportunity to short, unfortunately. You could say it did. I don't want to get you guys confused, so I don't want to show you that yet. We'll get into entries a little bit later. All I want you to see is how we react to these structure points. We react here, and then we move eventually higher. I remember I took this trade a while back ago where I was entering right down here, right? I want to show you why. Where did we first have our bullish engulfing? Did we have any bullish engulfing here? No. Any bullish engulfing here? Not till this candle here, right? And our entries will be right here in price rockets. We are going to go over these so much. All right, so don't worry. We're gonna have plenty of examples. What I want you to notice is look how we swept liquidity, and now we're moving up, right? Here we swept liquidity, right? And we could have had a continuation, right? That's what minor inducements are used for. Now we're sweeping another minor inducement. Perhaps we can come down, continue, right? Unless we show signs of a reversal. Here we are sweeping a medium inducement. Now that we are sweeping a medium inducement, perhaps we could look for a reversal, right? And or if we come back into here, a continuation of the minor inducement. Here we've swept liquidity. We have a bearish engulfing. I'm okay with taking shorts with this OB here. If price comes back in, like so, I'd be okay with shorting. That is perfectly fine. Yes, we took an SL here. Again, I want everybody to remember major versus medium versus major inducements. Our main reversals will come at the major inducement. Your win rate at a medium or minor inducement is probably close to a 50, 60% win rate. Major inducements, 80, 90%. Major inducement, we have a win. I can almost guarantee as soon as we sweep this major inducement or this major inducement, we will have a reversal. Here we swept the major inducements. We need confirmation. Here is our confirmation. Engulfing. It looks like it ran without us. That's okay. There it is. There it hits. Now it should melt. There it goes. All right. There is our OB, our engulfing. Eventually it did hit, took some time, but then it ran. All I need you to understand is, did we sweep a major inducement? Yes. Was it external liquidity? No, but it was internal, right? And we were in an uptrend, right? Higher highs, higher lows. What happened here? We had minor inducement. We swept the minor inducement, right? And then we continued. We swept medium inducement, which is also for continuations and reversals, and we continued. We swept major inducement, had no confirmation. Swept major inducement, had no confirmation. It wasn't until here in which we had confirmation, right? Price confirmed, price came back, retested, and then melted, right? These two areas right here and right here should have been where you're primarily looking. But that is basically just an introduction into algo structure. Get used to identifying these structure points. All right, remember, I'm just going over concepts here. I don't expect you to fully understand anything yet. I expect you after through continuous breakdowns that I will be sending you and these will be making sense. I might as well. I got to stop the video here, unfortunately, only because Discord only lets me upload a certain amount of time onto a video. But hopefully, this gives you an understanding of how I'm viewing structure and how I'm viewing liquidity injections in the market. Next, we're going to be going over pretty much time and price, using time as confluence, correct session timings, and understanding Asian liquidity and special minute mitigations. I will see you in the next video.